Hey, Sands. Hey, Sands, can you hear me? Hey, Bill.
Hey, good evening.
How are you?
I'm at home. Oh gosh.
That was good.
So awesome. Let's see. I need to send Jay the link. So let's see. Oh, come on. And okay. Jay. Okay, sent. So guys, y'all look fabulous. Y'all look ready to go. Awesome. And is there any preference in order you guys might like to go in tonight? So Joanna, I can't hear you, but go ahead and if you guys,
we would, oh, sorry. We would like to go first if we can.
no worries, go ahead and put that in the chat, please. You guys, the, oh gosh, not the tangerine,
Pterodactyls.
Pterodactyls.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I could not remember the exact thing. Okay, great. How about the next team?
We would like to go second.
Okay, Michaela, go ahead and put that in the, oh, you
Christiane.
already did.
Already?
Christiane did that. Okay, so Joanna, go ahead. I can't type out pterodactyls, so.
Oh my gosh, I don't think I could either. Hold on. Let me Google the spelling real quick.
If it's not correct, you guys don't go at all. So there you go. There's the rules.
That's why I pick, when I picked a team, it's always like cat, yellow cats. I can spell that.
Very
Yeah.
smart. Very smart.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Jay, long time.
Hey, brother. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
I don't think does pterodactyls have a P?
Yes,
Beginning of?
it does.
Does it really? Wow.
I Googled it, so I'm trusting.
Man,
Google.
yeah. See, for dyslexics, that would completely be a bad spelling bee word too. So I would never get that.
They would nail us every time.
Yes. Yeah, well.
Okay.
How many folks from a roll call perspective, how we doing, Bill?
I am just pulling that up. So excellent
Okay.
on your part to anticipate what I need to do next.
Well, that's sometimes what I'm good for, Bill.
Yes. So Rodana, let's see. And Richard is in the house. And Kelly Esquin, Michaela. So Vanessa's here. And Kevin. Okay, so it looks like we're missing 4 students. Adiance, Marissa.
Okay, let's give a little time then. Obviously, we want people. I see some more folks coming in.
There you go.
So we'll get a little internet traffic time. That's what we'll call it. We'll call it internet traffic, or just life traffic, right? So that's good.
Oh, let me. Okay.
I actually had to go out to Sabre today, so I had to go out and actually see people today. It's kind of wild.
That's
Like,
new.
yeah, I know, like seeing people I haven't seen in forever. And people are like, oh my gosh,
Did
dude.
anyone get taller in real life?
I'm a giant, so no. Yeah, I think that Kevin
is big.
Yeah, I know. I think that's the thing, probably for the folks that were able to actually make it out to Spacey. I think that's one of the things that some people were like, oh my gosh, Jay really is a giant. He's like ginormous size. Yes, I am. Because Bill is not a small guy. So
Not after COVID, man.
Not after COVID.
Thanks for that, Jay.
It knocked off a couple inches off your height.
Exactly. Yes. Added it to
Weighing
my
you
weight.
down.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Ian Johnson in
Hey,
the house.
run a little late. Sorry about that.
Boom. Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. How the heck are you, sir?
Doing well. Working frantically to build a new website for Spacey and work on
Awesome.
videos and get ready for a conference in June. So
Wow.
Yes.
So, a lot, so
I hope
nothing
Bill
going on.
no,
doesn't
no, it's
mind.
totally
He asked me
boring.
for a deadline today. I hope he
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
mind me saying this out loud. He asked me for a deadline today, so I went to the client to check, and I said 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. That's your deadline.
Today.
All right.
So-
Well, and Rick, how are we doing on roll call from your folks?
We've got Michael Sands here and Ian Johnson. My other gentleman, Ashford Dixon, looks like he's tied up with a client right now.
Okay. Hey there, Michael. How's it going? Now,
Mute.
okay, did you catch that fish yourself?
I caught it from going into the trash.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Awesome,
Yeah.
dude. So you're recycling and helping the environment.
Yeah, we could call it an upcycle. Yeah, it works.
Nice upcycle. I like that. I like that a lot.
Ugh.
All right, cool. And just a side note, what's really interesting and what's so fantastic for me is when you've been around the sun more than a few times, you get to have former students of mine that are of course become much more amazing than I am. And Ian is one of those former students. I met Ian when he was about 18 years old, Ian, something like that.
Jeez.
And you're on mute, so
Yeah, maybe a couple years older than that, but it wasn't much more. I was in my second year of college, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my first class with you was motion
After
design.
Effects.
Yeah, it was After
Yes.
Effects.
After Effects and motion design. Yeah, he was going to be a rock star, man.
I was not an excellent student, by the way, but I did
Alright.
see somebody who knew stuff. So
Yeah. It's been a long and winding journey, man, to
Oh,
watch you. I mean, you got kids and stuff now. You're married. Who thought that would happen?
right?
You know, all sorts of good stuff happens. That's the coolest part about this is I will get to see some of y'all in 20 years and say, yeah, I remember when you were in this crazy little design thinking class with Rick Villa. Well, I could reminisce all day, but we actually have stuff we need to do today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it back to the guy that keeps me in line. Before we do so, though, I just want to acknowledge that, give a huge shout out to Rick. Rick has been here every evening, working with these students, helping them try to understand the Spacey technology as much as possible. He's volunteered his time. I hope that the students find that the valuable part of this class, which makes this class different than almost any other class I've seen on design thinking, is you're really working with a real company trying to solve real problems. And you know, trying to ramp up quickly to understand technology that you don't really get a chance to work in, you're exposed to, you kind of get an understanding and try to solve. That's a challenge. This class is a real challenge to try to wrap your head around. And we don't get a lot of time to do it. We had 3 weeks and then we threw you in to start coming up with a presentation. Rick gave some feedback this evening. I'm looking forward to seeing how you took that feedback and elevated it for our fine guests today. And Rick, any thoughts at the beginning of this that you want to throw out before we start having presentation? And you're on mute. Still on mute.
Man, mute. I'm glad.
There you go.
Now I get to start over. Perfect.
Okay.
I'd like to, nothing big, nothing new. I would just like to give Ian and Michael a chance to introduce themselves. That way the students know who they are pitching to,
Excellent.
rather than just two guys at Spacey.
Two dudes at
Because their,
Spacey. That's
their
who we got.
resumes and their experience is a lot better than just two guys from Spacey. So
Yeah. Okay, that sounds
Um,
great. I'll let you, who would you like to start?
let's start with Mr. Michael Sands.
Perfect.
All right, so I'm Michael Sands. I am Director of Operations for HODT at Spacey. Let's see, I've been with Spacey for 3 years. I've gotten to do some really cool stuff. I'm in operations now, but I've been able to take ideas from, you know, just a little concept, a little zygote, and actually see them made. It's been a lot of fun. Spacey's really cool that allowed me to do that. Yeah, I don't know too much about me. I guess
You like
yeah,
fish. We got that.
what's that? You like
You like
fish?
fish. Yeah.
And I was a designer I did graphic design for about 20 years before jumping on with Spacey and doing a career change. And I was actually brought on Spacey to do graphics, but then they, like I said, they let me do some things. It's really cool. So yeah, that's about it for me.
Perfect.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm Ian Johnson. I am now head of global marketing at Spacey, which is a fancy title. But I joined about 4 years ago, early on, and it wasn't many people then. And it was just a couple of us doing creative work, building experiences, trying to do concept for clients, design products, do everything that you could think of under the sun creatively. But it's grown, and we've been able to, you know, split those jobs over time. I was proud to bring in Sands and you know, put him in the right place, I think, for you know what he would do well in. So now, you know, the shift is to just focus on marketing and the message we are, you know, sending to everyone else. So very tied to HODT and our rebrand on that side. And, you know, I'm really excited to see what you guys have come up with.
Perfect. 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 And Ian is no stranger to quick turnarounds and hard work, because like I said, he worked for me at many late nights. There were times when we did all-nighters and all sorts of stuff. So he is a super hard worker and really, really super creative. Thank you guys, by the way, Michael and Ian, for being here tonight. So Bill, I'm going to throw it off to you to kind of help get the group started. Hopefully everybody is here and ready to go. And you're on mute, Bill.
I think it's catching.
think so.
Joanna, if you're doing the beginning, you can take the screen over. Let's start this up.
Will do. Let me share my screen really quickly. and start the slideshow. Can everybody see the screen okay? Oh, I am so sorry. We're not at solution yet. There you go. All right, Kelly, take it away.
Sorry, I was on mute. So hi, everyone. I don't know if you can see my beard that I have going on here, but it will come into play later in our meeting, in our presentation. So we're here to show you the Lift and Learn Spacey project for electric razors. So this is our team. It's me, my name is Kelly. We have Dima, Kevin, and Joanna. Let's start with the background. So when we did our research, we found that 54% of people prefer to shop online rather than in person. Now that's not a big margin gap, so we're hoping that we can swing the pendulum in the other way and have more people prefer to shop in person. Now, for those people who like to shop in stores, we found that 63% of them use their cell phones while shopping, and we're hoping that that number can decrease with the use of the Spacey HODT project. So let's go into the problem. So we determined that we were solving problems for two people. Well, number one, the customers, and number two, the actual retailers. So for the customers, they're struggling because they're unsure of the product features, which is why they end up going to their cell phone to look up and compare multiple things. Now for the retailers, they're trying to find safe solutions to bring customers back in stores post-COVID-19. And now Dima will take over for the personas.
Thanks, Kelly. This is Dima, and I'm going to talk about the personas. So based on our research and the interview we did on men that uses electric razor, we discovered that every one of them has different needs depending on their hair texture or skin type or face shape or special needs. We discovered from the research that people with diabetes have dry and sensitive skin. Also, based on our research, we came up with this persona. For example, this is Steve. Steve does most of his shopping online, but when he wants to buy an important product, he prefers to go in store and buy this product. So Steve needs is detailed product information at store level, features tailored to personal needs, customer reviews, and immediate availability. Also, Steve might have typical questions like, can I get it cheaper at another store? How does it work comparing to other products? What does this product do? And is this the right product for me? From a retail perspective, like Mackenzie is a store manager, and she's hoping that people will come back to normal and shop in store instead of online after the pandemic. So her needs is technology that help with store revenue, innovative design that eliminate barriers due to COVID, and increase in-store shopping to combat competition with other e-commerce. And Mackenzie's pain point is that the space in store is limited. And also when customers read the reviews and compare prices on their phone, they end up purchasing the product in store, online instead of in store. And also not being able to set up certain displays due to inventory. And now Joanna will talk about the opportunity.
Thank you, Dima. So Kelly and Dima has laid out a really good background for us based on our research. And through our investigation, we found that there are many steps that involves a buyer's journey. And while, maybe forms of payment, ease of navigation, and inventory might be dominating by e-commerce right now, we found that, as you can see, the top 4 category right now is not yet dominated by e-commerce. And that is product touch and feel. You could go to a store and hold on to a product, feel the texture. There is immersive exploration. You could try on the product in store as well. It's ultra convenient, which means you can go to the store when you need a product and buy it right then and there and have that instant gratification and use it immediately. And then lastly, in the stores, you're able to gain personal advice, whether it is another shopper or a personnel that is working at the store. So we saw that these top 4 categories are really important for us to kind of amplify the good, to continue to see what we can develop to focus on those areas. And so ultimately, the goal for us is that a shopper should have access to reliable and up-to-date tailored product information integrated into their in-store shopping experience. And at the end of the day, it should be easier than Googling on their phone. So that our ultimate goal is that they shouldn't even have to pull up their phone while they're shopping in store. And so we did a little bit of test right here. We saw that average time spent on product search, if you were to Google, if you're taking out your phone and actually punching in, electric razor that fits my coarse hair, all that process takes about 140 seconds, which is about 2 minutes. But if we used the live and learn technology and we have the information right then and there, it only takes about 20 seconds for them to find the same exact information. And it is a huge decrease in time. And to be specific, it's about 85% decrease in time. So that is a really huge point for us when we found that out. And now Kevin is going to talk to us about the solution, the big ideas that we came up with.
Thanks, Joanna. Electric razors fall into 3 general categories: foil, rotary, and trimmer. Foil razors are best for daily use. They provide a smooth shave on fine hair, but they are limited to shaving in straight lines following the direction of hair growth. Rotary shavers allow for multi-directional shaving and can closely follow the contours of the face, jawline, and neck. They're great for thick, coarse hair and those who don't shave every day. Trimmers can include multiple attachments that provide control over hair length and allow for shaving in areas like the ears and nose. Each razor in these categories can have different features like flexible heads, waterproofing, rechargeability, or alkaline powered. This is our storyboard. Consumer Steve is at Target looking for a razor. He approaches the Lift and Learn display and the augmented reality feature triggers. Steve is able to input his preferences and Lift and Learn shows him recommended razors, and he can hover over the products to discover more detailed information. Here you're looking at a 4-foot section. The CIO was concerned with the amount of space in the store and if the display would reduce the SKU count on shelf, so we rotated the screen vertically to allow for more peggable space. The display is only 11¼ inches deep, so it doesn't obstruct the aisle. We put a wayfinding sign on the floor to get the customer's attention and to show them where they should stand to have the most optimal experience. We also kept the UI low and the interaction target areas large so that it is more accessible to customers. We needed to make sure that Lift and Learn addressed our customers' needs and answered their questions. What does this product do? How does it compare to other products? Is this the right product for me? The augmented reality feature really helps narrow down what razors will help them achieve the look they're going for and which razors will work best on their face. They can also easily compare product features, see reviews and videos, and Lift and Learn can even make it easier to find the product on the shelf. Shaving changes the way you look. Let Spacey change the way you look at shaving.
The end.
That was outstanding.
Wow. Really, really great. All right, Rick, I'll let you direct questions for your folks.
I'm just going to turn this over to Michael and to Ian. As I've said many times before, I think it's unfair for me to voice.
Sure. All right, and Mike, yep, there you go. You're off mute.
Hey, okay. To start off, I think it was great. I like the color theme. I like the font, and I mustaches like that cracked me up. I thought about putting one on real quick and showing up one. Like, but I thought it was great. I thought your presentation of the problems was good. I thought the way that you broke down the target audiences or the personas. I like that. I like that you did your research on the target, the personas, and you found that there is like you didn't just say specialty folks, the guy people that have special needs. You broke it down like, hey, people with diabetes have problems with that dry skin. You know, you have a little bit more insight into that than just special needs. So I like that. I like your persona, the store, the retailer, listing out the pain points and mentioning low inventory. I thought that was great because that really is a big problem right now, right? So I thought was cool. I have a little bit of critique on the measuring the time and measuring how your 140 seconds of Googling versus your 20 seconds of Live and Learn. I mean, the first hole someone's going to poke at that is like, well, I had to drive down there to do the Live and Learn. It was more than, you know, a couple of minutes or something like that. But I mean, it still measures that you have decreased time spent learning from Live and Learn than you do for Googling, because Googling does take, you know, just, we've all been there, Googling forever. I noticed that you didn't mention Amazon at all. And I thought that them being one of the 900-pound gorillas in the room, you might have seen how they compare in some of your research. Nice breakdown of the types of razors. Thought that was great. And then let's see. And then on your mock-ups, the rotating to portrait, I understand why you did it. It's a little smushed though, with those 5 razors being down there, and I would want to see the screen be about this big, and then the display be about this big. My hands. The fish was this big, but like, you know, the screen be bigger. But oh, and that's another thing. I'm loving this little animation. I wish I was seeing it full screen. It's pretty cool. Just kind of going through steps. You've got a good, nice, clean UI that you're working with. And wayfinding, that's my last point. Wayfinding is fantastic, and it's a big buzzword. So I'm glad that you incorporated that in. And that's what I got overall. Great presentation.
Makes sense. Ian?
Yeah, I have to agree with all of that. I do appreciate the research that went into it, showing the really the use case for why someone would want to do something like this in a store, why people go to stores to shop, and why they don't, you know, and where this kind of thing could work. I did appreciate small touches like, hey, put a big dot on the floor so that people, you know, it brings attention to it other than just being a screen. And, you know, some of the thought put into how this could not only attract, but then serve, you know, serve those needs well. So again, excellent design. I really appreciated the thoughts about the persona and the needs of the store to keep as much stock on the shelf and how much fight you're going to get if you try and take space away from, you know, the shelf. And especially in big box stores, that's a huge challenge, right? They do a tremendous amount of work fighting internally just to get, you know, their stock, whatever it is, you know, the product, the area that, you know, one person owns versus somebody else, and just fighting for space on the shelf. So the more you're mindful of that and conscious of, you know, how this is not going to take too much stock, you know, space away, but going to contribute to the experience so much that it's worth having, makes a big difference. So great job, guys.
Very nice. Yeah, can you guys go back to your 3D views where you showed yeah. So out of sheer curiosity, did you guys photograph these razors or how did you composite these things in? I'm just out of curiosity.
We have Kevin, the magician.
Mhm.
Man, Kevin did a fantastic job then. I will let you keep your secrets, but really nice job. I was like, whoa, they didn't 3D model all these things, man, because if you did, I go, that's really impressive, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
Mr. Shu, no secrets here. So the display is done in CAD, and I didn't spend time modeling all the razors though. I just got them for free from GrabCAD.
wow, but that's making excellent use of your resources,
Way
right?
to
So
go,
that,
Kevin. Way to go.
yes, I go from a graphic perspective, that's super smart, right? And a way to go. So yeah, so I really enjoyed your presentation. From where we saw y'all last week till now, what an improvement from your initial draft on this. And Bill, thoughts from your side of the fence?
No, to be honest, I mean, I think y'all covered it. I mean, I really, really love the look of the presentation and the topography. I mean, just really subtle, beautiful, and minimal information on the slides. Just communication was great for me.
So
Well,
I'm going to go back really quickly then to Mike and Ian, Michael and Ian. I'll start with Michael. What were some of your takeaways from this? What are some of the things that light bulb moments, if any, that you had as you were kind of listening to this presentation that you say, you know, that's something I hadn't thought about, or that's something we may want to look into?
Oh, let's see. Well, I will say, echo Ian talking about the dot on the floor. We've done done that several times. We've all wanted, let's just put a dot there and let's make them sit there, and for the optimized viewing preference. So I just wanted to mention that. Let's see. I thought the storyboard was interesting. Let's see. I'm trying to just throw notes. And can you go to the next slide? The really good takeaway, and we've been facing it a lot, and we fight about it a lot, but was that you guys were handling the inventory and being considerate of the space that is occupied by your product. And that's something that we keep trying to do with everything, try to make it as small as possible, so that it's not, because it's hard. I mean, these companies have paid a lot of money to put their product where they want to put it, and it's hard to get that space. So that's something I think about. I'm not a good personas guy, and so I would say that the personas to me also helped out, and that's something I want to look into a little bit more and try to work into my future use. So for me.
Perfect. Thank you, Michael. Ian, any kind of light bulb moments or things that you kind of said, wow, that's kind of cool. That's something that I want to kind of consider more moving forward.
I did find the use of a little bit of AR in the experience interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge I see in that is you'll have to make it really smart to see people at different heights and sort of isolate them and make it kind of work for everybody. But I liked that aspect, and I really liked the thought put into the industrial design aspects of this, right? How to make it look clean and appealing and like something that a retailer would want on the shelf. I think both of those were really excellent.
Excellent. Thank you, Ian. And I am going to pick on you, Rick. From what you saw last week till this week, could you just comment on the progress that the team made?
Oh yeah. Listen, they took the advice, is that's all it was. We gave them some basic direction. And I think they took what Bill, what you, and what I said and ran with it. They cleaned up the work that was there. And I was really impressed. I mean, listen, there's a lot of work goes into these, and Michael and Ian know that. We've everybody, Jay, Bill, you guys know how much work goes into putting these presentations together. And they're working remotely as a team for the first time. So I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed. And I said it last time, and I'll say it again because it hasn't come up yet. Accessibility. It is a big thing with me. Michael and Ian know that. Jay, you know that. I'm a a big supporter of it, and I think more companies. I know companies are forced to do it, but I love the fact that they did it without being told. They weren't forced to do it, and they recognized it as something we need in society. So I think that's a really great thing.
Perfect. Well, I think group, you did a wonderful, wonderful job. Really matched and exceeded my expectations for what you guys were going to deliver today. So super job. And Bill, back to you for the next group. Huge round of applause to all you guys. Great, great job.
All right, awesome. So next we have the yellow rabbits.
Okay, I'll share my screen.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Can you all see okay? Okay, perfect. And then Christianka is going to start us for the presentation. Sorry.
Okay, so hello everyone. Thank you for being here and for listening to our ideas. I want to thank Rick and his team for joining us, and Rick especially for helping us through class and sharing his knowledge and insights with us. So today we will be presenting 4 solutions based on our research for purchasing electric toothbrushes through the Lift and Learn technology. So the team is composed of myself, Christianka, and then we have Vanessa, Michaela, and Rodana. So in order to bring forth these solutions that we're presenting today, we went through the design process of empathizing both with users and buyers, defining the problem and identifying pain points, and then ideating from those pain points different solutions, prototyping, and eventually testing. So the problem we were faced with was to provide in-store information and support for customers looking for electric toothbrushes that have specific needs and concerns without the distraction of competing products on their phones. So we found that customers struggle because they're unsure if a product's features meet their needs, and stores struggle to find safe solutions for bringing back customers amidst and after COVID concerns. In order to further evaluate all of those needs and pain points and struggles, we did some site studies and some research, and Michaela is going to talk about the insights that we gained.
All right. Hey guys, I'm Michaela. Like Christianka said, based on the problem, we did an empathy map. We conducted in-store interviews with the site studies. We sent out a survey to some people. And here are some of the main pain points we came to. First, the store manager. One of the problems was that the installation process would cause a disruption within the store with the customers. Additional responsibilities on the employees, such as having to train everybody on the new technology and different ways that you have to pitch it to the customers. And then the insufficient space in the store and trying to figure out how it's going to fit and how it's going to look within the store and the aisle. And then within, go to the next slide. Here's some insights from a site study that we did. We went to Sam's. One of the quotes is, "We need to understand the maintenance requirements and make sure that all the employees understand the technology and how to fix and maintain it if something were to gonna happen." And then fitting the technology within the store wouldn't be much of an issue, but we would need to strategize to make sure that the tech fit within the layout. And I'm going to pass it on to Vanessa with the customer.
Hi, this is Vanessa. For the customer, our persona, we have Chris and some of his pain points. We found that after surveying a group of 29 people, we found that our top pain points included being unfamiliar with the features offered in electric toothbrushes, concern over the reliability of electric toothbrush, and having trouble finding a brush to meet their specific needs. And then some of the goals that Chris had, he wants to make sure that they are able to switch from a manual toothbrush with an electric toothbrush, and to be able to find a toothbrush that is within his budget and find a toothbrush that helps whiten teeth with multiple functionalities. And we found that after completing the survey, that 72.7% of shoppers prefer to shop for a toothbrush in the store rather than online, while 11.1% of people surveyed prefer to shop online for a toothbrush. 18.5% of the people were gifted an electric toothbrush. The top considerations for purchasing a toothbrush included price and customer reviews. And some of the insights that we found, they include, I would love a toothbrush that allows me to purchase a replacement head at any major store. And it would be nice to see a comparison of features among toothbrushes. And then I'm going to pass it over to Rodana to talk about people and phones.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rodana. So we did some more research on the users, and we found that the average time spent daily on a phone, not including talking, has increased in the recent years and is expected to continue to rise. So during a 2021 survey conducted among 2,500 consumers, approximately 46% said that they use their mobile phones to search for information about a product while shopping in the store. And that same percentage indicated that using this device for price comparisons, that they also use the device for price comparisons in the store as well. And I will pass it on to Michaela to introduce our big ideas.
Okay, so here's our storyboard that we came up with. The customers, like, in the toothbrush aisle, and they see this mirror, they approach the mirror. They're given the option to smile, take a quiz, a personalized quiz, or they can hover and compare on the toothbrushes. And at the end, they are gifted a coupon, an AR toothbrush, and a bundle deal that's ultimately gonna lead them to buying a toothbrush and leaving with one. Next, I will introduce Smiley. Here's our prototype inside Target. And we're gonna go into more detail to this. Pass it over to Scan a Smile.
Okay, sorry about that. So for Scan a Smile, this is the first of our solutions, and we believe that by using AI features, the lifted touch will help customers scan their smile to find and purchase an electric toothbrush to fit their specific needs. And so the customer is captured by this mirror, and through walking down the aisle and catching their reflection in the mirror, they're able to interact with the product. And then here is a screenshot of the prototype, and how might we suggest a toothbrush based on the needs detected through the AI scan of their smile. And here is a quick video of our prototype. In our prototype, we have a customer that feels overwhelmed with many options of toothbrushes and is unsure of her dental needs, but knows that she wants flexibility with brush settings. With the artificial intelligence scan, the customer is given recommendations based on her smile and is able to specify the targeted concern with the hover technology. After the scan, the customer receives a coupon for a bundle deal to use on her suggested toothbrush in the store. And I am going to pass this over to Christianka to talk about Find My Brush.
All right, so based on the insights we talked about before, we realized that customers want to know a product will meet their needs before they purchase it. They want to be able to evaluate the cost, the value and features of a product while they're shopping to ensure that they'll be satisfied with their purchase. So through the Find My Brush feature, we believe that by participating in a short interactive quiz, customers can find that product that meets their needs and will satisfy what they're looking for. All right, so when thinking about this, we thought, how might we allow, a customer to find a toothbrush based on their specific needs? So the solution we propose is called Find My Brush, and it's kind of like Build-A-Bear for your toothbrush. It offers personalized recommendations by choosing features that they want, and they can even choose a budget for how much they're willing to spend. And it also helps collect valuable data about how these customers are shopping and how they're choosing their toothbrushes. So here you see a screenshot. Oops. So if we go back to that other slide, we can see, thank you. We can see the screenshot of the results after they've taken their quiz and gotten their recommendations. They can hover over different toothbrushes to see how it would work best for them, maybe look at some reviews. And now we'll see the video of our prototype in action. So the customer chooses to take the quiz and they determine what features are most important for them. Maybe they want soft bristles, and then they can choose their price range. They can look at their different toothbrushes. And once they've made a selection, again, they receive a QR code that they can scan with their phone, and they can receive a bundle coupon, or if we go to the next slide, they can take home an AR version of their selected toothbrush to envision in their space. So they can actually see what their toothbrush will look like in their bathroom. And I'm going to pass it over to Rodana for Hover and Compare.
Yes, so with Hover and Compare, we believe that it will help customers easily compare brushes so that they will be more confident in their purchase. Next slide. So based on previous customer pain points, we came up with Hover and Compare. It's kind of like Amazon's compare with similar items function. And the Hover technology will allow the user to seamlessly browse through the options to compare the things that they want in a toothbrush. So how might we help users make an informed decision by comparing the features of multiple toothbrushes? And in the clip here, the Hover and Compare technology allows the users to seamlessly browse through the options to compare things that are important to them. And the interactive functionality allows them to view the specs, features, pricing, all with the Hover technology. I will pass it on to Michaela.
Okay, so this is a fun little addition with the technology coming into your store. I mean, not only did we want to cover the pain points of the customers, but we also wanted to look at the store management side to help the process a little bit easier for them. So we believe that an interactive AR solution for the store management to map out the store layout will bring a smoother transition overall. It's kind of like a combination of Amazon See It in Your Space and then the ruler on your iPhone that you can measure. We believe that it's a performance payoff because it's a more efficient way to plan and scale by getting real-time measurements and being able to see it real-time in your space. Yes, how might we give new ways for the store management to easily map out the store? And there we go. Thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you.
Really good job. All right, Rick, I'll pass it to you to direct it to the guys.
All right, who went first last time? Was it you, Sands? I think it was Sands. Ian, let's let you go first. So.
Okay. Excuse me. Really nice presentation. I like the look and feel. I like the thought that went into it. And I like the presentation of a few different modes of interaction, right? Which is can be appealing to the different types of customer needs, or how they might prefer to shop. I think if I were the couple struggles that come to mind that you might get if proposing this to a real client, right? That come to mind, especially with somebody like Oral-B or others. The scan the smile experience, you'll be fighting an uphill battle against embarrassment, especially in a large screen public kind of setting, right? Although I think the feature is cool and really neat. So beware of things like that, and those obstacles that you might face. The other one is the I love the compare, right? Don't get me wrong, I love the compare, but it will be really difficult to get more than one brand to allow you to do that on an experience, right? So you might get, you could definitely get Oral-B, say, to do like a compare on all their brushes because they want to line up the right features for what it is you want, and understanding the difference between all the brushes. But I have a hard time believing that two different brands would allow themselves to be put in the same experience, right? And be compared against each other. So again, uphill battle and that kind of stuff. But again, the feature is excellent. Being able to compare, to understand the features, and the Find My Brush is just that's the winner for me, right? Being able to go through a quick kind of survey to understand what it is you're looking for without necessarily knowing which brush to look for in the first place, really great use case, really great customer journey, to getting from I have no idea what I just know I want a brush, but I'm looking at 10 different brushes and I have no idea which one's better. Help me figure it out, right? And without talking to somebody, especially when you're going to a store and there may not be somebody there to help you, especially in, say, a store like Target, or somewhere where, if you want to go hunt someone down, I guess, but the chances that they actually know enough information about the products to help you is, slim to none. So having an experience driven by the brand, the people that know the most about their own products is the way to go, right? Especially with something like this that you don't buy very often, right? That's why these kinds of experiences could work for these products, because it's not something you buy very often, but you might need one or want one right now, and you need to be able to make an informed decision, right? Everybody wants to feel like they know what they're doing and that they feel in control. So again, really great thoughts, really great job with the presentation. Kudos to you guys. Excellent.
Michael Sands?
Yeah, okay. So I echo Ian. It's great presentation. I like that you guys bounce back and forth. And I don't know, it seemed like I was expecting each one to take a different segment, but it's like you guys were rolling back and forth so many different times. It was great to hear each of you speak more than once. I will say I liked the persona about the customer and the manager. I feel like the manager was more, you didn't hit on the pain points that he's having as a manager and in the store. You were more about, it seemed like you were focusing more on what he's going to feel and how he's going to react to you wanting to put it into the store. And you echoed that with the his quotes that was like, do I have to have other people trained on this? How long is it going to take to set up? Which are valid questions, 100%. And but I felt that there should have been a little bit more of his problem. What problem you're solving? I love the pain points on the customers. I liked that at the beginning. I'm going to back up a little bit. I like that you guys went through your design process at the very beginning. That was cool. I like it was just kind of like, hey, this is where our mind was, and this is how we came up with it. I was surprised that people spend 4 hours a day on their phones. The storyboard, this is just a little thing I picked up on. I thought the little money plus toothbrush equals plus toothpaste equals coupon. And that brings you to a point of I like rewards for looking at stuff. I feel that people want information for free, but they don't want to lose their time. So if they're going to look into something and spend their time, they're going to want something at the end. So I think rewards like coupons, they have their place. Not everywhere, but I think in this instance, it works well. And I've got to echo what Ian said about the teeth on the screen. I imagine somebody finding out they have some salad stuck in the middle of the tooth or something in front of everybody would be a little embarrassing. And I had this one idea. I was talking to somebody once, a banker, and I was like, yeah, it's a great idea. You can put this on the wall and can, do your ATM and stuff. And he said, well, your PIN number on displayed for everybody to see. And so it's kind of like these little things. It reminded me of that. It's like something that I just looked over. But having AI, if there's a way that you could get it to where it's a program on your phone and you basically take a picture and then there's nothing that shows up on the screen. I mean, I know we're not there technology wise, but having AI figure out what's wrong with your teeth, it's kind of cool. And to be able to say, hey, this one's going to be able to get your tooth in the back that has that cavity back there, or no, but I'm saying like that's a really interesting technology. And I like that you guys incorporated that. Find My Brush is awesome. Like, I wish I could go in and say, okay, I like long bristles that have, that are softer, and shorter bristles that are a lot tougher. I actually have thought through that process, and I thought it would be nice to be able to pick a toothbrush I want. And so I like the UI that you guys had, because you made it seem a lot more simple than you made something that's complex and simple, because actually adding all that up, there's so many permutations of what could, combine together. But yeah, I like that. I thought the AR version of the toothbrush, I see what you're doing, and I think it's neat that you included it into your presentation. I don't see the payoff on that. And I just don't see many people going home and go, oh, it looks like this in here. So like I said, I think it's neat in the presentation. It's something that adds, to the presentation, but I don't know the viability of it, actual viability. I have a question about the AR blueprint. And is that so that the prospective retailer can see what their device is going to look like in the store? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. That's neat. That's something that I'd like to send to all our clients and say, hey, it's going to look like this there. And it's incorporating the AR is very interesting, because you also do AR training. You can also, they can, they don't have to have the device there, they can train on. So I thought that was neat. And that's it. Overall, great presentation.
All right, Rick, I'm going to go to you again so
Okay.
you can do a comparison and contrast between what you saw last week and what you saw today with the group.
Oh, the same, very similar to what I said before. I love that you took the advice we gave and ran with it. You really closed up some of the gaps that were there. Some of the things that really caught my attention tonight, I'm looking down at my notes, is I love the how might we. I love how you pulled that in. Michael talked about bringing in your design process. I too, I'm a fan of that, because I feel like it helps people understand where you're coming from when they know this is the process I use. This is where I was. I've always felt like if there's something, and listen, I'm talking with two guys I work with, so they know this. if I'm telling you this is where I'm coming from and this is why, they can tell me where in my process I'm going sideways, where they want me to go a different direction. Like, yeah, all right, step 3, yeah, don't do that, go this way. And so I really like that. I like how you were bouncing off each other. For me, it's like Jay and Bill and I have talked about riffing off each other before, and I really felt like that was the vibe that your presentation was giving. Bundles, I know I spoke about bundles in classes before, and so I really like the way you incorporated that. And just from a presentation standpoint, as somebody who has done a lot of presentations, the way you recovered when the slides weren't where that you wanted them to be was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. You didn't make a big deal about it. You just said this, you said that, you kept going on with your presentation. It's like playing music, okay? If you hit a wrong note, guess what? Hit it again, because I meant to do that. And just keep going with the process. So I really love the way your team recovered and just really finished the whole project. So that's it. That's all I got. I think you guys are great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much more that hasn't been covered with this team. What I'll just say is I really appreciate all the hard work that you guys did from last version till this version. You really brought it up a notch. You showed really well in today's presentation. And I think you took me seriously when I said, if this is truly going to be a portfolio piece for you, it needs to look like it's something that someone would want to hire you. Bill, final thoughts for the team?
You stole my line. Yes, no, I think all the work, you could really see it from 1 week to the next, and just bravo. Way to go, guys.
Hey Jay, one last thing. The video.
Sure. Oh yes.
Just amazing addition. The video was an amazing addition. So I mean, just congratulations on that. That was great thinking.
Yeah, I will say that that's really going to help you on your portfolio side of things. That people don't realize how hard it is to knock out videos. Ian does, because he has to knock them out, and everybody else goes, man, it's only like 30 seconds. Can't you just knock that stuff out really fast?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hey, just kind of, can't you just change that thing? We have this guy at work, and Ian and Michael are going to get a kick out of this. This guy at work wanted to change to the video. I said, no problem. He said, how long does it take to just make this, it was like, however many words, doesn't matter, a small amount. And I said, probably about 2 hours. And it was, what are you talking about? And I'm like, okay, listen, I overestimate. He's like, yeah, you're sandbagging. And the thing is, 2 hours? No, that's about right. Okay, that's about right. But I needed to calm him down and get him away from my desk. So I was like, yeah, don't worry, we can do this. Just go.
Yeah, I mean, I think what Rick has helped you guys with is that one of the issues with user experience, and our job is to make it seem simple. Our job is to make the UI clean, for it to seem really simple. And Michael talked about this a little bit, making it seem like it's, oh, this is no big deal. You just kind of compare this and compare that. And people don't understand the number of iterations or the matrix of things that you have to consider and have all of those things that you're accounting for, right? If you did the spreadsheet on the matrix of all the different variables and how you have to account for all of them, that's a lot of work. And then you've got to QA it, right? You've got to make sure that everything, when you roll over this, that those two things matched up the right way and it's the correct information. And when you make it look really simple, sales guys and other people and executives go, yeah, no big deal, man. All you do is this and this is really easy. And you're like, yeah, dude, that's a matrix of about 150 combinations, right? For those three things. And they're like, what? Right. So those are but if you do your job well, people will see, oh, that's really clean and simple. It should be easy to fix. No, probably not. And especially you start throwing code and AI and data and all those other things that all need to be QA'd, right? As well, to make sure that all those, the back end and the front end, are talking to each other and the cameras are working and all this. That's what makes spatial technology unique, is they have accounted for all of those variables to create an experience that to you, the consumer, or in the store, seems seamless and simple. And Brian Sullivan, who y'all know, said it's really easy to be hard and it's hard to be easy, right? So that's a, you know, it's really easy to make something hard and it's really hard to make something easy. And that's what I think you guys have learned a little bit in this class as well. All right, with that, Bill, again, fantastic job to this group, really impressed. Thank you for all your efforts and showing up well today. Thank you. I'm really proud of you guys. Okay, who do we have next, Bill?
Our last group.
Excellent. Really quick, I want to take a quick pulse of the room. Do people want to take a quick bio break, grab something, stand up? This would be a good time. Yes, no, or do you want to keep going? Spacey guys, how you guys doing on time? Okay, I tell you what, let's take a quick 6-minute break or 5-minute break now. We'll be back here at 7:40. Just get up, take a bio break, get something to drink if you need to, and I'll see you here in about 5 more minutes, okay?
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah. Bill, let's go ahead and get the last group queued up.
You got it. Blue Elephants. Who is going to take over? Take the screen, I guess. Excellent.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We are going to speak tonight about Spacey's Hover Touch technology with laptops in the retail setting. Next, please. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce you to our team. We are the Blue Elephants, and that consists of Anayanse, Richard, myself, Marissa, Coy, and Natasha. Next, please. So as we all know, COVID has impacted the world in many ways. The retail industry was no different. In-store sales plummeted while online shopping flourished. So retailers quickly learned to pivot and develop new ways for customers to buy. So as we see, the e-commerce increased by 48%, followed by the contactless payment, buy online, pick up in store, and finally curbside pickup. So with the popularity of these new ways to shop, customers now have an expectation of expediency and convenience. So as we come out of a pandemic trend, we're seeing that trends are changing and customers are feeling more comfortable with returning in store. Research predicts that in-store shopping will continue to dominate the industry, accounting for 72% of all sales in 2024. Next, please. So when looking at providing the best in-store shopping experience, it was important that we focused on a variety of customers and their specific needs when shopping for a laptop. Our research showed that 64% of customers said that a negative in-store experience would prevent them from returning to a retailer again in the future. So it's important that when we have the customer there, we provide them the best experience. So customer shopping trends we're seeing are constantly changing. So it's important that retailers actively strive to provide customers with innovation, convenience, and savings to keep their loyalty. So at this time, I'm going to pass it on to Anna to continue with our research.
Thank you, Marisa. Okay, this is what we found from our research in some important stores. In Best Buy, that store dedicates a big space just for laptops. Also, they have a lot of employees in the area, but not all of them well trained. We found a wide variety of products and Costco. There were not employees in the tech department to give information. The device information was in small print, but there were devices to interact and touch. In this store, if you are buying a tech product, the employee create a pickup slip and you can bring it to the cashier. Target had a low inventory with sporadic replenishment, laptop displays on aisle shelves like any other product, and staffing issues again. Micro Center, great inventory with large selection of laptops, very knowledgeable staff, but and you can find lots of info displayed in every laptop. Next, please. From the site study and a couple of interviews we did to some customers, this is what we learned. Staffing issues. Most stores visited had a little to no staff present in the department. Customers have to take a lot of time to read through device information or locate the store associates for assistance. Employees should count on a tech tool to give the customer a better and more informed experience. Some elements to take in consideration on the store are striking spots, big space for people to walk between aisles, and well-trained employees. Even when people have an idea of what they will buy, they still need advice for an employee to reaffirm the decision and make the purchase. It's also good because employees can provide info about promotions or special prices for bundles. Next, please. The parts of this experience where users are struggling more are customers find a lot of options in store, brands, prices, features, sizes that make it hard to make a decision. There are some stores where they cannot find a variety of products or employees to provide them information. Sometimes employees are so technical explaining the product and people cannot understand very well the purpose of each feature. Customers are afraid of getting a very sophisticated product because of the lack of advice, that they are not going to take advantage properly, and also they could save some money. Then Natasha will talk about what we are trying to solve.
Thank you so much, Anna. So what are we trying to solve? So what we're really trying to solve is the issue of customer information overload. As Anna said, with complex technical jargon and, customers being a bit overwhelmed and uncertain of what they need, maybe in their software or applications, incompatibility when purchasing a laptop. So we're really looking to personalize this experience and give them that, that great in-store experience without having to do a lot of prior research. Next, please. So some of our big themes are, we're really thinking of how to transform the tech department at, say, a big retailer store. So we want to make it a more personalized buying experience. We really want to empower our consumers to make a quick and well-informed decision without having to do too much prior research. They can really feel great about making their decision in store with the information and comparisons that are provided. So the tech department would be more service-based and would have spot-on suggestions in more of like a layman's terms for our consumer. From a personalized virtual assistant. So this would really create a unique in-store experience, and it really encourages buyers to shop in-store to get some deals that they wouldn't be able to get online, and to really get some cool perks. Next, please. So our 2-minute readout for our product is called Laptop Attendant. So it's kind of like getting personalized suggestions from an Alexa, but also receiving some great freebies and prizes. The person or group who uses this are families and young professionals. They struggle because they aren't quite tech savvy, or they really need a good budget-friendly option. Maybe this is like a computer that's gonna transition them into their first, remote working situation, or they need something for the family. So in a perfect world, they would be able to quickly make an educated decision in store with a really engaging product display without needing the help of a sales associate or trying to find a sales associate. And this is awesome because it really transforms, like we said, the tech department from this kind of dusty or impersonal experience to a more competitive, to make it into a more competitive laptop market. And again, you wouldn't really need to hunt down for a sales associate because you'd get everything you need from this personalized attendant experience. Next, please. And now my colleague, Richard, will tell us more about our solution.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Here, we are trying to solve a problem So how might we deliver new convenient in-store shopping experience to everyone? And also, how can we compete with an online retailer like Amazon or Newegg when we are shopping for a laptop or a desktop? Also, how can we sell more computer accessory, bundle offer, or sell extra service in store to make more revenue? And lastly, how might we attract the existing and new customer to visit the store more often? So, solution with Spacey. Spacey deliver a new seamless testing and shopping experience for everyone. And Spacey have the futuristic in-store laptop and desktop showroom. Also explore the possibility with Spacey showcase environment and forget everything you know about retail. Let's start with our first storyboard. Here's Bob. Bob is shopping for a laptop, but he's overwhelmed with ton of information. Then he go to the store, visit the new innovation station that we have designed, and answer some basic question about what type of the laptop he's searching for. And the display rotate the best laptop, and at the same time, two projectors start to beam the light down to display more about the products. After reviewing the products, Bob buy the one he likes and leave the store with a happy face and enjoy the best laptop shopping experience he has ever had. So here is solution number one. Let's talk a little more about our Wheel of Fortune display. So shopper will interact with hover touch in front of the TV. After the system identify which laptop is selected, the display rotates to the best one for shopper. After the laptop align with the TV and shopper, the laptop base light up and shoot the light to the TV, and then display the 3D hologram. The TV will then display the product specification, price comparison with online retailer, or an extra item which customer can add on, or discount offer in store only, or a 90-day product or software assistant, and more. And at the same time, both of the projector also project the bundle offer QR code for shopper to easily find the extra product in store. And also we have designed the ADA compliant for wheelchair shopper as well. So as you can see, the height of the countertop and the picture right here that illustrate the design. Here is the design perspective that we have. So we have two projectors mounted to the ceiling. We have the product image and QR code available, a movable outer circulation station, movable platform like a circular conveyor belt. It's dial and stop when user hover touch or a specific laptop is selected. We have the TV and the webcam securely placed on the steady inner station. And I'm going to pass to our colleague, Khoi Tran, to explain more about solution number two that we have. Storyboard number two, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Richard. So our other solution is very similar to our first solution. However, we do not incorporate the rotating display. Rather, there are projectors and displays built into the station itself. And so how it works is a user will be able to come up to a laptop they want to view, hover over a laptop they would like more information on, and then by hovering over that specific laptop, the displays will change to highlight information about the laptop, and the screens will create a new ambiance. So for example, if the laptop is for gaming, the ambiance would be more futuristic, kind of spacey, like a space theme. So just to just bring the user closer to the environment. If it's maybe for like a school laptop or like a notebook, the ambiance is more warm and bright, just so the user can have a different feel for each laptop. Next, please. And so how this display will work is it will be segmented into different categories. So gaming laptop, design laptop, school laptop, whatever other laptops may be displayed. And so hover touch will be engaged when a user hovers over the section they want. On display will be detailed information about the laptop, so specifications, and also any type of bundles that the user is looking for just for engaging with the technology. So it could, for example, hovering over the gaming laptop may offer bundles with gaming mice, keyboards, headsets, etc. And then, so why this display is different from the other displays, that this display will allow multiple users to interact with at the same time. And so because of that, we've also incorporated headsets as well, so we could further isolate people's experiences if multiple people are using the experience. And headphones also double as accessibility because they'll allow people with lower or impaired vision to enjoy the experience as well. And this, another step in this second solution is that instead of the main TV being on top, there will be a separate section where a user can answer the questionnaire, so they can go to the laptop that best suits them. Next slide, please. And so the laptop assistant questionnaire will just consist of basic questions like what kind of work you'll be focusing on, what kind of apps you'll frequently use, just so that the program and the algorithm can just figure out the best laptop for the individual. Next. And upon finishing the questionnaire, the user will be able to hover over and just read about more insights about the laptop and access the bundles that I described earlier. Thank you so much.
All right, great job, folks. Rick, I'm gonna throw it to you to push it to the guys.
All right. Hey, Michael Sands, you want to take this one first?
Okay. Hey, yes. I like the presentation. I think you guys did really good. You know, presenting each of your ideas. I like that you weren't, even though there was a nice balance of reading the slides and not reading the slides, which I know whenever there's just slide reading, it gets kind of droll. So that was a good balance. Let's see. I got stumped on the acronym BOPIS, which I realize is buy online, purchase in store. But at first I was like, Opus, and that just something I don't know. But I liked your insights. I liked the pain points. I liked that it wasn't on the slide, but you mentioned it at the very end when we were talking about pain points, about basically paying too much. And I just wrote in my notes, get gouged, because I know a lot of people, they're just worried about paying way too much for something that they don't need. I love that your problem was clearly stated, what problems you were solving, and how you're going to do it. The 2-minute piece about the problems was great. Just putting that in there and getting it it felt like a nice little summary of what you guys had just gone over. And another thing that I saw, and this is, you talked about bundles. So adding to the basket. Retailers love adding to the basket. So I thought that was a pretty good call out of putting those bundles together and getting more products purchased than just the one. I have the first solution is a little lofty. I think as far as the actual mechanics that need to go into it, that's a big moving platform, and that could potentially get dangerous. But it doesn't mean that it can't be done. I love that you had the idea of putting the bundles right next to your product. That's using projection when I feel like it is a good use. It's not just using projection just to use it. And the other thing I had about that was I was worried that no one else can use it while one person is using it on solution number one. Basically, that's a one person, one operation thing. Solution number two, I like, and I like that you brought out the different categories of the different types of laptops. And I think it's great that you can get multiple users in there. And this again is another good use of projection. I do feel a little bit weird about the headsets. In a post-COVID world, I don't know how many people would want to use headsets. But then again, it is awesome that it's there to be ADA helpful. And so I don't know how to balance that. I don't know if it would be like they have the headsets that are available and you can go use them. I don't know. That's a lot of logistics there. But overall, I thought it was a good presentation, and yeah, I like the. I know I talked a lot about the Wheel of Fortune kind of thing, and I feel that like it's a lofty idea, but I do like it. I think it's cool. It would be fun. Nice.
Mr. Ian?
Hey guys, sorry, I was putting the girls to bed. Yeah, I don't have a ton to add. I really appreciated Sands's assessment there, because I had to agree with most of those points. I do like some of the creative use of projection, and of course the very interesting fixture in solution number one, which, you know, getting all those parts and pieces to work would be possibly tricky, but the cool factor of it and the wow factor is on point, right? If you really want to draw people to something they haven't seen before or might not see anywhere else, that's definitely one way to go. And I think, to Sands's point, if you could do that and somehow also address the ability of this to be used by multiple people at the same time, especially considering the format, right? Lending itself to multiple people, which you then address very well in solution number two. And I like the idea of separating it by, you know, essentially different user personas or different, you know, sets of needs for, you know, these laptops. So I really appreciated that thought. I think, you know, for a customer to be able to come in and identify themselves with one of these categories and what they're looking for, and then kind of dig into the products from there and how that product could help them with what they need, is a really important part of good marketing, right? So I appreciated the thought in why the headsets were there, but and I do have to say, I mean, I get it, especially in a situation where people are so close together that you don't want the sound from one to interfere with the other. So I do get it, but of course, like Sans said, some people will be concerned about that or shy away from wanting to use them. So you have to fight that battle, right? Or potentially come up with other creative solutions to solve the issues that way of doing it creates, right? So often with all of this stuff and the designs we come up with, there's a lot of compromising between different potential user needs, and so I'm really appreciative of the thought that went into, you know, why you would do that way, you know, versus going some other way with it. So, you know, great job, guys. Great graphics. as Jay Shu knows, I'm a fan of shooting for the moon sometimes, and then figuring out how I've got to scale it back to make it sort of more realistic, if you will, of a project for right now, right? And then figure out how to make it better in the future. But I love thinking big when I can, when I'm afforded it. So I really appreciate all the work you guys put into this.
Yeah, I'll tag on to what I think the team heard similar concerns from me, right? That were brought up last week. I love shooting for the moon. I also know that you do have to think about ease of use and environment, and that's something that I think you guys could do maybe even more research to think about. Okay, what kind of scenario would you have if you had 5 people at this table, 10 people, 20 people? What would be the scenario that you would have to think through to have a crowd like that? Little kids messing with the spacey technology, putting their hands in while somebody's trying to really gain an experience, and you have that little kid that's ADHD running around just slapping everything, right? Those are all the real world kind of things that you would have to take into consideration when you do cool stuff like this. Immediately, I'm not thinking in store with this whole thing, to be quite honest with y'all. To me, this says conference. This says this would be something where you would do this at a conference or something, where you'd have a lot more control over the lighting, a lot more display opportunities. What I think would be cool is, for Spacey anyways, if you had a customizable presentation center that then you could build once and completely change the look and feel using Spacey projectors per conference that you're at, right? Like you could change the color or the vibe or the branding, and you have this centralized thing that you put together at different conferences that allow you a lot of different options, right? So that to me, from a Spacey perspective, I could see this much more at like a NAB or something like that, where you're using this for a conference kind of experience rather than an in-store. I think there's a reason why Apple has square tables in their stores, and it's a surface area kind of problem from a physics perspective. I mean, you're talking Apple, and they have square tables. So there's a reason. They've done some design things. One of the things I'll say about business is sometimes, and this is thinking big, and you're right, I love Ian that he thinks big, and Ian and I have had many conversations over the years and go, dude, I love your thinking, and cost, time, all those other things come into play, way to think big, and the client doesn't have $2 million. So, let's figure out what we can do within their budget, time, and everything else. So you do have to live in the land of reality. And I think that was already kind of addressed a little bit. Again, what's great about this, though, is, to Ian's point, you can take these ideas that you've done here and scale them back. You could do a half round, right, on this, and that might be interesting. Another interesting perspective. I can imagine a square room where you have half rounds on each wall, right? And then have these different experiences where you could have 3 people at a wall, right? And you divided up the wall in interesting places too. And I mean, these are all different things, or imagine that it's like pieces of a pie that you can take these things and structure them differently. You can put it together as a pillar, pull them apart, have all sorts of interesting things there, like make Legos out of it a little bit. So that's where my brain goes when I say yes and with you, what you guys have presented. But I think by showing this initial idea that may have some things that need to be tweaked, you also give the creativity team a thing to go, yeah, maybe that won't work, but this might work, right? And that's always nice to go big, and then, as Ian said, scale back and say, but what if, right? Or the way that you put the projectors down, hey, you know, what haven't we considered with rotating projectors, maybe, right? Like you could rotate the projectors instead. You know, there's still issues with that, but at least nobody's going to be, you're not going to have some little kid thinking it's a ride, right? He can't reach the projectors up there. So you know, reverse it and play with it. Okay, so I'm rambling on, so I'm going to throw it to Bill. Bill, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think the motion and the interactivity just drew me right away.
Sure.
And so I think we talked about this last week. I mean, you can keep that easily, and it's a great way to just rethink the retail space.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys definitely have some ideas here that I can't wait to see go forward. I want to see you guys keep pushing this.
Yeah,
It's
Rick.
like,
Sorry, Bill. I thought you were done. Oh, okay, Rick. I want to bring you in from last week to this week. What are some of your thoughts for the team?
Oh, several. One, I'm just going to go down the list of my notes. I've been taking notes. Love the colors, love the tempo of the presentation. I loved the retail statistics. The personas that you listed were really great. We covered this in class several times, and I just feel it's so important to understand. Jay says it all the time, you are not your user, you are not your user. And we have to understand who we're designing for, because I've said this before, we are their champions when we're in these design meetings. So I love that you guys did that. The store research was great. The term that was used about customers being overloaded with information, that is spot on. I'm going to echo what everybody else said. And I wrote this down. I love the big idea. I love the big idea. I love that you used it, that you put it out there. Things that happen to us internally, I believe, and Ian and Michael can probably back me up on this, is when people are throwing out ideas, even designers, I feel, are a little reluctant to sometimes say, well, I was kind of thinking this. And this is one of the reasons I love just throwing all of our ideas out there the way you guys did using Mural, and you just threw all your ideas out there. And I think that's just such a great way of doing things. So I love that you use that. And I loved from last week to this week, how you came up with solution 2 and really developed that and really refined it based on a lot of the notes you saw. And then just jumping to what Jay said. And, I saw Ian nodding when he heard Jay mention the term conferences. Okay, this is something we're working on at this moment, is dealing with not just our own conferences, but helping to consult on other conferences. So when Jay hit, that's just hitting the nail on the head. That was just perfect. Ian mentioned, like the wow factor, going back to the big design ideas. I loved that. And then the image you had of downward, of showing what the perspective would look like from the camera's angle, I thought that was really cool. I loved that image. I thought that was really cool. It let me know exactly how that design was going to work. I know I'm rambling. I do that a lot. So I thought that this was perfect, and congratulations. I think it's really great.
Yeah. Bill, why don't we throw it to you for additional thoughts again, really quick?
Well, the level of detail that we've seen from week to week, guys, I want to give you 2 more weeks on this. I want to see you guys build out a prototype, a physical prototype. I'm kidding. Your graphics tell the story, but it's like, guys, you're really communicating your ideas so strongly that it's it just works for me, and so I'm really excited for you. I am really excited where this project has gone.
Yeah, if you guys could go back to your final ones, I did have some thoughts as you guys are building this out. I love the idea of the personas of the gamers of the office, because I'm thinking of grandma going into the store, potentially in a store situation, maybe not this layout, but in a situation where you could say, hey, here's a gaming machine, here's an office machine, here's a college student machine. Grandma's coming in and wanting to buy this as a Christmas present. You're giving her wayfinding, right? You're directing her to the machines that she knows nothing about this stuff really, but you're basically saying, yeah, for the guy that wants gaming, this is what you need because it has the processing power, it has, the hookups for the Wi-Fi, it has everything you need if you want to be a hardcore gamer. And if it's a college student, this has, the Microsoft bundle or whatever you need, right? That's attached for a student going to school. You're making it easier for people that aren't tech savvy to go in and make some initial decisions, right? Especially around the holidays or back to school or other things like that. So I think that branding idea is something that I would push forward. I agree with Bill. I think you need to push this idea. You need to take the feedback we've given you and continue to come up with solution number 3, solution number 4, solution number 5, and keep testing this and keep researching it, because then what you do is you have a really interesting story where you can say, here's this big idea that we started with and we got some feedback that we maybe needed to scale back or simplify a little bit, and based on that information, here's where we landed, right? And while this may be a good conference solution, here's a solution that we took from all this feedback that really could be an interesting in-store experience, right, for somebody. So I think that's my advice, is to really think, okay, Jay said this is more of a conference experience. How might we take some of these ideas and apply it to a more practical in-store experience, right? And how would that play out, right? So that's again some of my final direction to y'all. But keep pushing this, keep working with your teams. And Rick and I and Bill have already said, in this program, you are your network. You're the people that are going to help each other the most moving forward in your careers. The friendships and the relationships that you built in this class and this program, those are the people that are probably going to help you land the job, because we all know it's really hard to just put resumes into the void. And working together, this was a big team. So actually, if you could stop sharing, I'm going to see everybody really quick. I won't keep it. I think we're doing pretty good on time. I'll keep us about 8 more minutes, but I want to ask, with the Spacey folks here, I want to talk about hiring a little bit, and I want to talk about, because I think Ian and Michael and even Rick might have some next steps for you guys, right? As you're out there trying to find a job with a tech company, to try to find, what companies are looking for when they're considering bringing people on a team. This is part of a portfolio, but I'd love to hear their perspective to give any advice to the students here about what else they need to do to position themselves for a job in the future. So any volunteers to go first? And this is from Ian or Michael or Rick. I know Michael put his off mute and on. So Michael, I think I saw you first. So why don't you go?
I was going to kind of echo what we're going through, what we were saying with the from the last presentation of that dreaming big and kind of like laying big ideas out. It is really helpful to show your employers that you have ideas and that you can come up with some cool stuff. And yeah, throwing out 10 ideas, 8 of them may suck, but 2 of them may be awesome. But it shows that you're thinking in different ways. You're thinking about different aspects. So yeah, I mean, the viability of all of them, right, may not happen, but it leads you somewhere else. Let's see. I would say retail skills and learning what the retail trends and learning what's going on with the just in that environment. I know you guys did research on this. There are a couple of buzzwords that I picked up from this, but then also there are a couple that I was looking to hear. So like it's, and for example, I say like adding to the basket. You know, that's Rick, you've heard it a million times. Ian, it's been said over Spacey millions of times. So, but that's just kind of getting more into that retail insight. And then that, you know, that works right into your problem solving for your experiences, because you have more, as you're seeing those insights, you're able to then take it on and know, you know, how your solution is going to help those folks, those retailers. As far as other parts about other advice about jobs, I'd say like your portfolio is great. Getting portfolios together, getting work out there that you can show them. I don't want to see, I always want to see work. I always want to see something that's done. You know, I said I worked as a designer for a long time. Your demo reel is all you got for designers. So, you know, this isn't so much of a presentation as far as that, but it's you're showing working together as a group and showing that your portfolio can then, you've done something, done a project great together. Yeah, I'm babbling and ramblings, but yeah, Ian, me, or Jay.
I'm gonna yes and really quick to this, because you sparked something that I think is beneficial and it's useful. One, jargon. Michael mentioned jargon. If you're a designer, you're going to walk like a designer, talk like a designer, you know, produce like a designer. And if you decide you want to get into healthcare or finance, or you're going in there, you should do your research on the company and the industry you're applying for. You should know the trends. You should keep up not only with what are some of the user experience trends, but also what are some of the big pain points that a particular industry is going through at a particular time while you are interviewing for that company, because the solutions that company is producing is going to be relevant to the pain points that at least they perceive are going to be valuable to solve. So if you can come in there recognizing what that company is trying to target with their solutions, that's going to be really beneficial for you to go into an interview and say, hey, based on your solutions, based on my understanding of the current retail scenario, these things, I understand. It seems like you guys are trying to solve for this and this and this. And you talking that way in an interview is going to help them feel, wow, you went the extra step to understand my company. You went the extra step to understand the industry we're in and we're trying to solve for. And then they go, wow, this is great that you know that. And then they're trying to think, what skills do you bring to the table that I need as somebody who's hiring that you could help me fill, right? And that's when the portfolio or the problem solving and the other things, they've already known that you are at least, you've already knocked out 9 out of 10 candidates by taking that type of approach when you go into an interview. Because a lot of people just show up and go, I applied because you said you need a UXer, right? As opposed to, hey man, I've studied your industry, I've studied your company, I've studied your products. Let's talk. Because where do you see me fitting in with the skills that I'm bringing to the table? And they're going to go, that's the kind of conversation I want to have. So thank you for sparking that thought, Michael. So I really appreciate that. Ian, you want to build off of anything I was just saying?
Just a small note here that those who've been in jobs where you've had to use these skills, or you've seen where it can go wrong. I know this is a small thing and it's not really the focus of the class, but the presentation skills you're having to use here and even hopefully continue to get better at, not just how you speak and being able to make a presentation, but you'd be amazed at how difficult it is for a lot of people to make cohesive presentations, sets of slides that tell a story well, that go through the steps to help illustrate the concept and do it clearly, without sort of going off on jargony embellishment and do other things that confuse people, right? So being clear, not confusing, and telling a story well, really make a big difference, not just, I think, in a lot of business cases, but if it's marketing, it's sales, and even, when it comes to pitching products like this and doing proposals, right? So keep leaning into that. Again, some of you may already use it for your jobs, but I am flabbergasted often to find how difficult this can be for some people in the work environment, and I'm talking high-powered, well-paid people too. So keep it up.
Yeah, poor Ian, man. I just feel bad for the guy with how much I tortured him when he was younger. But anyways, but it seems like it turned out okay. So Rick, what from a presentation perspective, you've seen what these students did in their first draft to where they did. You've already commented they've done a really good job taking their initial thing. What guidance would you give them to take what they've learned in this course and continue to do or take it to the next level, right? What advice would you give them, and how they could use these skills that they've learned and move forward with it, right, to get a job?
Two things that you've already heard from Jay: practice, practice, practice. Okay, and network. Research just comes along as part of those two for me. So, but those two things are vastly important when you're going to what Michael said, building a portfolio. That is the practice, practice, practice. And that goes for also consulting. And there's finding a project here or there just to help out on. You don't always have to be part of the, and I'm not trying to steer everybody towards, the startup world. I'm just saying you don't always have to be a part of the company to get something from the project. Just getting something for your portfolio plus getting paid is something for your future, because you're building this portfolio like Michael was speaking to, and that's really important. So if there's a project or two out there where you think you can lend a hand and give some guidance, that can be worth it from the portfolio perspective. And again, getting back to that practice and networking, because you never know the people in the team you're helping. One or two of those people you might meet later down the line on a different project, and it just keeps building. It's like a snowball effect. When you're networking with people, it just continues to grow over time. Michael Sands and I, it's a joke between us. In our early stages of our career, we crossed paths at least 2 times. We never met, but we crossed paths. That's just weird. Okay. So Ian, I have known Ian since he was an intern for a company that Jay Shu was at. And how did I meet him? Well, because Jay brought me in. I was doing some work. I brought my client in there and I met Ian. And here we are years later. And Ian is my boss. And this is just this great relationship that we've had over all these years. And again, network. And again, why was I even there to meet Ian? Because I had brought my client in there. I had taken on a project. I wasn't a part of the company. I was just hired to come in and just do some freelance work. And so I was able to do that. And you just expand your portfolio as far as your artwork goes, or your creative work, I guess we should say, but also the portfolio of the number of people you meet. And the number of people you meet, it truly does have an effect on the number of opportunities that are going to come your way.
Yeah.
And just like everybody on this call, listen, I ramble. My apologies. My apologies from our first class to this class. I ramble. I'm sorry. But I really do feel like these things that Jay has been preaching, not just in this class. Hey, listen, you know, it's funny to Ian and I. We can tell you Jay is consistent about preaching these 3 topics. He has consistently been preaching these things to me for almost 2 decades. So I trust me when I say he is a believer in what he is saying, and I believe it as well. So really practice it as often as you can, and it will pay off.
Yeah, I'm just really quickly going to give some feedback here, and then I'll let the Spacey folks go, and we can open it up to after. And you guys are welcome to stay. I just don't want to keep you, right? I know you guys have families and dinner and all that other good stuff. Some of the feedback that we've gotten from some of the folks that have gotten hired from this program is that while the design thinking, the research, the user experience skills are really, really solid from some of our candidates, one of the feedback that I've gotten really recently, as of today, really, is that your traditional design skills also need to be taken into consideration when you're doing this. And so where these 2 ideas match up is, now that you know how to talk to people and find pain and use the framework, find those opportunities and get into Figma. Understand, you know, enterprise design libraries, you know, get in there and start making stuff and start really educating yourself on colors and photography and accessibility considerations from a visual design perspective, because that's the other part of the thing that we don't go deep in this program, that hiring managers are looking for, and they're expecting. I was actually told today that probably next time they're going to go with more seasoned folks who have traditional design backgrounds. So that's where I'm trying to give you some latest hot off the press stuff. Is it's good to know the UX part, but they also hire you for UI, you know, and so that is something that I would focus on from now until you find your job, is saying, how can I apply all the principles and fundamentals that we've taught you, and now practice your design skills and continue to learn where you can make more stuff for your portfolio by finding problems to solve and adding to that, because that's going to be that win-win, right? To Rick's point, you're going to find, hey, this is a nonprofit or a startup or whoever needs help, and you say, hey, I need experience in Figma developing these things. How about we exchange? And in exchange for my work, I get to put it in my portfolio, right? And that's the deal you can make with those companies. And I'll almost say, sure, yeah, I get a free designer, and all I need to do is let you use the designs in your portfolio. Boom. But then now you're involved and you're talking to stakeholders and you're talking to people and you're getting feedback and you're doing iteration. And just like Kevin said, you know, when you present ideas that you've learned during this course, people are going to go, dude, we need to do that. Like, that's a great idea. And I've had students that have taken one methodology that they've learned in this course, a stakeholder map, and they took it to their executives and say, hey, we should really understand all the people we're working with in our ecosystem. What are the beliefs and values? You know, what are their metrics? What are their goals? And go, whoa, the reason we're having so much trouble is we have misalignment and beliefs, values, and metrics of what success is. And we're not communicating effectively. Boom. If we fix that, that could take away a lot of the pain that we're having internally or, you know, externally with some of our customers and stakeholders. That's just one methodology. Then you have empathy maps, you have personas, you have, you know, all the storyboards. You heard tonight how people are like, I love the storyboard. You're telling me a story. You're explaining what this journey and experience is going to be. Don't underestimate all these things. Use those. And how can I practice by becoming how to learn how to be a really solid aesthetic designer, right? And understand the photography and the colors and everything else that's going to make you a top-notch designer. I guess if there's anything that Ian or Michael or Rick have, that last words that you want to leave them before Bill and I just kind of open it up to fair game questions from the students. Now is your time for last words. Why don't we do that? Any last words, Ian, for the class?
I'm not good with last words.
I know you're not, but that's okay, because we never say goodbye. We always say adios. Right?
That's right. No, I just I'll say I appreciate you guys having us and working on this. I think it makes us feel special. So I want everyone to know that we really appreciate everything that you put into this for this class and for us. And of course, Jay and Bill, thank you guys so much for having us.
Well, thank you for volunteering an evening to hang out with us and watch the students' presentations. We very much appreciate that. Michael, any last words that you'd like to leave the students?
Yeah, I'd like to say that I really appreciate you guys working on, you know, using us as your kind of your theme for this portfolio, for this presentation piece. You know, I'm going to steal them all and take them with me. But seriously, I love doing this. It's like, this is the second year I've done it, and it's a lot of fun to see how you guys are, like, you know, coming up with the class. And I hear from Rick every day, and he's like, oh yeah, we're gonna be working on this, and he talks about we're progressing slowly, but it's great to see it all come together. And yeah, that's it. I think, thank you for letting us, you know, be a part of it.
Yeah, and I'll riff on that before I throw to Rick real quick. They only had 3 classes of education. Then it was like, okay, put together a presentation, right? So it was like 3 days, and they had to go through, understand all the spacey technology at the same time they're learning the design thinking framework. And then we said, okay, you've had 3 classes, do a presentation, and we're going to critique it the next week, and then here it's this week. So from a, you know, we're always talking in business, how can I be faster, more effective, more efficient? This is one of those ways that shows the power of design thinking if it's taught the right way and students are given a good problem to solve, right? Because I think if you just said, hey, I want you to learn about spacey, you know, without having this kind of framework, I don't think they would have come as far. But when you throw them into the deep end and say, yep, here's what you're going to do, and they're like, are you kidding me? And then finally, you know, 4 weeks later, you guys are going, we did it. We actually freaking did it. And it was valuable, right? That's the key that I want y'all to take away is it's validation that this works. But you'd be surprised how hard it is to explain to companies that aren't mature from a UX perspective or have heard, no, design thinking sucks, right? You can't do it. Those are some of the things you'll hear out there. It's not design thinking, it's looking at people's pain and problem solving in a way that you can help overcome that pain. That's what design thinking is. Empathy, coming up with lots of ideas, narrowing it down, opening it up, and narrowing it down again. That's all it is, right? And Rick, this is your 3rd time, you know, working through a class. Any final moments or thoughts that you have for this class?
No, just grateful. Just grateful. Thanks for having me again. I enjoyed it.
Well, dude, you are an excellent partner in this. And again, we thank Spacey so much for you guys letting us, dig into your technology and giving our students some great problems to solve around, and just being open to listen to their ideas. So thank you again. All right, Bill, you're the last one. Any final things before we let the Spacey guys go home?
No, you guys, again, you've been great partners. And like I just said no, and then I'm talking. So just a lot of appreciation for letting us borrow Rick, and lots of time spent with the students to really grow their portfolio and their skill set. And yeah, Rick's been a great partner, and thank you so much for letting us have him.
All right. Well, Ian, I know you've got a deadline, so I'm going to let you get back to it, and your family and dinner and everything else. Again, Michael, thank you for your time. Rick, thank you for your time. I'm going to open it up to anything. You guys are welcome to stay if you'd like. If you need to leave, we absolutely understand that, because we know you have other stuff. And with that, I'm going to officially close down the presentation portion and open up to after hours. And remember, after hours this is your chance to ask me and anyone who wants to hang out for a little while, what questions do you guys have before you go on to your next? Oh yeah, Bill, you had something?
Yes, I did want to keep you, Michael and Rick, if you couldn't stay, and Ian. But guys, I put another assignment in the Canvas, and that is to take this amazing feedback you got from the gentleman at Spacey and to put that in your validation slides at the end of your presentation. So I'm going to give you guys this recording tomorrow morning. I'm asking you to turn in the PowerPoint again with the last slide or two. Maybe they had some great quotes that inspired you. I think you guys got a lot of feedback on next steps. However you want to do it, and just put that on to the end of your great presentations from tonight, a slide or two, and that finishes up the design thinking framework, the validation. You showed your prototypes, you got feedback, and it's very important to have that last stage. And I want to capture that in your PowerPoint, okay? So I'm hoping, again, Blue Elephants, this is not asking you guys to go through all the new thinking or any of that stuff. This is just validation from tonight, okay? So, I mean, I hope you guys do that, but what I'm hoping is just to capture that great information and get that and sort of finish up your presentation. So that was what I had to say.
Yeah, I'll dovetail that. And I think Rick, Ian, and Michael would agree. There's nothing worse than having a meeting with a designer and thinking you're in alignment. And then the next time you come back and you go, I'm confused because I thought we were in alignment and this is not what I was expecting, right? So really listening, taking good notes, getting that validation, that's super important. And that happens all the time, especially young designers. They get their own thoughts of what's in their own mind instead of listening to the feedback you get. And when you come back, you're like, hey, this is the next cool idea and you're like, no, dude, I told you to do these things. Where's that? And they're like, oh, I thought you wanted me to do my own thing again. No, this is cool, but I still want that thing I told you to do. Right. And that is something, that listening and that taking the feedback and doing it. So that's what I think Bill is wanting to make sure that is how you guys as a team listen to the validation, listen to the feedback. And one of the things that we've agreed with Spacey by letting us is all these presentations are going to be available to the next class, right? Just like you had access to the previous students, y'all's is going to be available to this. And of course, Spacey, that's part of the agreement that if they see something that's kind of cool, they may say, oh, that's awesome, right? So there is something that you might be able to see and say, wow, in some small way, I contributed to some of the stuff. Now, mind you, they also have a lot of other ideas that, right? They've been thinking about this stuff. You used to go, oh my God, they use that. They may have already been working on something similar to what you did. So I don't want you to think they totally stole my idea. But that's part of the thing that we get is a win-win, is letting it. So we'll see. All right. And anything else? Oh, yes. Question. Richard, go. And you're on mute. Yep.
Yes, I just want to say, if you all want more idea, I mean, basically one more idea, please reach out to us. We bring more ideas. Thank you.
Right.
Love it. Love it.
No, I'm glad you said that, because I was going to make sure and tell the class, listen, if you haven't linked in with me, please do stay in touch. Let me know what's happening in your career. That's how we just keep, I said this before in a class, that transmission of knowledge from person to person. That's how it happens. We stay in touch and we go to Mr. J. Shu with network. And that's how we just keep it rolling.
Yeah, I love
that
your
was perfect,
story.
Richard. That was perfect. Because yes, if we see an idea, I loved how Michael said that, like, hey, this got my brain going. Yeah. I'm sure tomorrow morning we'll be talking about this.
Yeah, I love the story Rick told is Ian was the intern and now he's the boss. Man,
Oh, absolutely.
That can totally happen in this industry, man.
Yes.
One day you are top of the mountain talking to the intern, bringing you coffee, and then you're bringing him coffee going, what can I do for you, sir?
Yes.
Because, and that happens all the time in this industry. And that's also kind of a be kind to everyone in this industry, because you never know who is going to be working at what company at what level, 2 decades later, right after this, and that intern that you go, thank you, may be on the hiring end and go, I recognize you, later on.
And there's a big difference between 2006 and 2022.
Yeah.
Right. But the other addition to that is there's a reason we are the way we are at this company, and I feel privileged to be able to ask Rick to do things to help in our organization, right? I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, it's a privilege. So,
dude, I feel amazing to see how you've grown, Ian, as a professional and in your career. And just, I think, I look forward to working with some of my former students someday. I've already told Lauren Parr, I said, hey, I can't wait to work for you someday. And she goes, absolutely.
It's a matter of time.
Yeah, I go, hey, if you can find a position for an old guy to still make a living, before I figure out a way to retire, I'm cool with that, and that's the thing. There's a day and a time for everyone. And I really do, you may not realize this right now, but everybody to the left and right of you visually on this screen is an opportunity that you may be working with them someday, because this industry is really, really small. And, Michael and Rick were saying, hey, our ships crossed like this a number of times. It is so weird and bizarre how you will keep running into people all the time in this industry. You think, oh, there's 300 million people in the United States. How come I keep running into the same freaking people, on the street? It happens all the time. So that's a great thing, Richard. And keep those ideas coming, man.
Yes.
LinkedIn, stay in contact, like people's stuff, even if you're following people that you respect, people pay attention. I pay attention to people who like articles or don't like my articles. It's human beings. We just do that. And, I met the National Cybersecurity Advisor to the country of Canada yesterday. So how crazy is that, man? And he's like, I go, dude, you had some good thought. He goes, yeah, I'll connect with you, man. And then I have, a former Air Force head of cybersecurity that I also met, who maybe wants me to work in a side project. So those are things that you're just like, seriously? yesterday was just like a Tuesday, man. And now I meet these two badasses in cybersecurity that are like top in their industry, like they're advising other cybersecurity guys. And that was just like a passing interest I have. I'm like, oh yeah, cybersecurity in another world I might. And they're like, no, dude, we need your video skills. I'm like, okay, right? You want to pay me a lot of money to do some other stuff? You know, that's the thing. But all right, opening up other questions that anybody has. Raise your hand, or I get to pick on some people who I haven't heard from. Dima, see, I promised I pick on people. What have you taken away from this particular class or the program, either or?
This particular class was fast and extensive. Like, it was hard in the beginning. The first day I was like, no, I can't do this. But the information, the lack of information for me was the pain. I mean, I don't know anything about retail and how they do business. And so when the team was great that I worked with, and I learned from them, interviews. So when I had the vision, like how retailers like make decisions, it helped me think of creative, like being more creative. And also finding the needs, because now the market is so competitive and it's really hard to compete with Amazon, for example. But if you find even a small needs and a pain point and you dig in it, I think that's the solution.
That's very good. Natasha, what were some of your takeaways from this experience?
I think the biggest takeaway is just what you can do in such a short amount of time. You know, I still wish we would have had more time, you know, and I still felt like we were running out of time, but it is really amazing to kind of see these ideas come together. And I have to say, and I know, you know, y'all have said it too, it's just that really everybody has been so like generous with their time. Everybody, even in our teams, have had multiple things going on in their lives. You know, whether it's in and out of town or, you know, being sick or just having, you know, you have a life, you know, work things come up, some things derail you through the day, but everybody really made a lot of time and effort to try to meet together and talk through, you know, these ideas and try to have some, you know, some alignment during this short amount of time. So I got to say that was really great that everybody really put a lot of time.
All right, thank you for that. And that's important nowadays because you're right. Crazy things happen, you know, and life happens. Kelly, what are some of your takeaways? And you're on mute. There you go.
I would say my takeaway is working with the group. I know we're in another group project, but as someone who works on a silo a lot from my 9 to 5, it was great to kind of say like, okay, we're all going to work on things separately, but yet let's all come together and share our ideas. And sometimes we even thought about the same thing, or we just thought about it in a different way, or they had the same idea, but it was like a step above what I was thinking. So the collaboration effort was great.
Very nice. All right, Marissa, thoughts? What are you taking away?
Well, I really enjoyed the fact that it did live up to the expectation of being hands-on and because you know, getting out there, doing our site studies, talking to people. And I also thought having that opportunity to go to Spacey's office and see the technology was absolutely amazing.
Yes, thank you, Rick, for organizing that again. And you all are the first class that has ever actually been out to Spacey, right? So that is a big deal. And that was Rick, you know, working with the Spacey team, and Ian, you know, approved that. And, you know, and Michael, you know, all the guys have said, yeah, okay, you can do that. But that's that trust factor that, you know, that Rick has come over the years. You know, this is Michael's second time to do this. He got a chance to say, oh, okay, I know what you guys are doing now. That's cool. Right. And so there's that trust, right? And Michaela, I want to say, there was a photo that Rick asked you, say, hey, can you rip that down really quick? And I think you did that, and you did it really quick. And Rick actually commented on that. He said, you ripped that photo down like super fast. And so,
I
and
saw
you
the
did it
message. I was
right
like,
away.
oh, let's go. We're gonna get it down.
Yeah, but that's a trust thing, right? That even you as a student have developed with Rick, and that's something Rick is not going to forget about you, right? You made an impression with him on that, and there's an old term that people don't use as much anymore, but it's still relevant, and it's called character. And what you showed was really good character, because you said, hey, this is important to Rick. Rick has helped us. If he's asking this, it makes sense for me to do it in a timely and efficient manner. I mean, you have no real, he can't say, hey, you're fired tomorrow if you don't do it. You did it out of your own volition because you respected Rick and his time. And that is something companies are looking for. They're looking for people of character. So I really just want to call you out in a big way and kind of say,
well, thank you.
yeah, thanks for doing that. That showed professionalism, and it showed things. While I have you, what is your big takeaway? What are some of the things?
Well, piggyback offing Marissa, the hands-on part of it, because my biggest challenge with this class and like the whole course is being solution driven and not design driven. And being able to go and do the interviews and talk to people and talk with my group and even going to Spacey, because I'm visual learner. So actually being able to go and like play with all the technology, like really helped me like grasp what this project was about.
Yeah, no, and you set aside time in your own personal time to go do that tour, right? On the last minute kind of thing. So that was really good. Thank you for
luckily I actually live like 3 minutes away. So I was like, oh, it's like right here.
Yeah. Well, still, yeah, it was a long 3 minutes, and you had to go uphill both ways. Yeah, right. So, Kevin, I'm kind of going across a little bit. What's your takeaway? And I know you're applying this. I love this story where you are already trying to implement things in your job. What's one of your big takeaways, or how did this class meet your expectations, or not?
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely did. So I've heard about design thinking before. I talked about my boss previously and doing some IDEO courses, but like really having it explained and laid out in a course that has instructors that you can interact with in real time, and then having an assignment where you can apply that. I think that really helped me better understand what it was.
Yeah, thanks. Because I think Brian does introduce some of these concepts and some of the things that he does. I've even had people that get in this course and they go, this looks like the same deck. I go, yeah, and we're applying the information this time, right? It's not just, hey, here's what it is. We're going to use it, right? We're going to use it with a real person to solve real problems that they're struggling with. And I think that's what makes this, I think a different course. So Christiana, what is your takeaway?
Well, I wanted to say that I appreciate how hard it is to teach this class, because it's hard to learn. And I used to be a science teacher, and we did project-based learning, and I know it's not easy. So I appreciate that. I think a huge thing was being able to think about things differently and really analyze things from different perspectives. Again, with the empathy, it's just become such a big part of how I approach things now, is thinking about it from different perspectives and taking in the environment and how people are actually interacting with it while they're in the situation versus just in a bubble. So I appreciate that.
Excellent. That sounds like you are on your way to being a prominent UX professional. I love it. I love it. Joanna, big takeaways for you, my friend.
Yes, I feel like it's a little bit of what Christiana said. I think on the one hand, I've just been super appreciative and impressed by just the overall, like the supportive atmosphere and like the kind of beyond what normal like learning environment, like the willingness to share knowledge. I've just been kind of like in all of that, like not only from instructors, but also like from Rick and Spacey, you know, just this general like positive vibe of like, we will tell you everything that you want to know, and we're not going to hold back all that information. So I think that is one thing. And the other obviously is kind of funny of what you've mentioned, Jay, about like repeating the same information. I thought actually that, you know, from our whole course, every step that we have taken so far is a little bit like we're kind of like sheep. We're a little blinded. Like we're not really like seeing what the next step is, right? Like we're just kind of like, you guys tell us like, take it the next step, then we take the next step. But I feel like this class is kind of like pulling that all together and making it real.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it does, because it's the applied application of what you're learning. And I think for me, and I'm going to step on a soapbox for 1 second here, is the biggest problem in our education system right now is they teach you theory and terms and don't give you an opportunity to practice what you've learned, right? You'll take like a 101 marketing course and you'll take a couple tests and you go, yay, I know marketing. No, you don't. You haven't tried to market anything, right? So when you take what you've learned and say, okay, let's apply it and create something and get feedback on it and see how we did, now we're learning. Now we're actually applying that knowledge and making it worth something. And I think and hope that more education starts doing that more, because I think that's what sticks with you guys. The fact that you were able to engage with Rick and get feedback with Rick and understand the technology. And then tonight with Ian and Michael, you got feedback on what you did and you said, okay, this is cool. This is how it really works. And this is how it should work. And I wish, but you know, to Christiana's point, this is a challenging class to teach, because I never know the students I'm going to get. I'm lucky to have Rick, you know, every time, but he's brought different problems every time we've had the class. And so it's the first time I'm going through it with y'all, and I never know how quickly or, you know, you guys are going to pick up on what I'm teaching, and then how quickly we can apply it, because we don't have a lot of time. We got like 3 classes, we barely get through it. And then I'm going, okay, do a presentation. And Bill and I had to condense the class because we said, if we don't give them at least 1 shot to get feedback on their presentation, the folks tonight would have saw what you guys presented last week and it wouldn't have been portfolio worthy. Does that make sense? So what you guys showed tonight was so leaps and bounds better than what you showed us last week, but you got to do a rough prototype and get feedback on it, and you took that feedback and made it better. You know what that's called? Boom, design thinking. It's like, no way, the class was what we teach, what Jay was, it's like meta. It's like, no way, he's using the stuff that he's teaching to teach the class, you know, to do that. It's like, right? But that's also that, you know, I think Rick said, I truly believe what I teach. And I think you guys get that. And I'm honest with the fact with you guys, you still have a lot of work to do. Because if you don't have that traditional design education in your background, I'm telling you, a lot of hiring managers are starting to look for that. So you got to know Figma, you got to know XD, and you got to know design language. You got to know that, and you need to have more examples. And it's on you to go out there and find that, right? And find those experiences. I can, you know, I teach to fish, right? If I give you a fish, you eat for a day. If I teach you to fish, you eat for a lifetime. And my whole teaching philosophy is I want you to become successful like Ian, right? I'm just so proud of that guy. I mean, you know, dude, he was not a great student, man. He barely showed up to class, you know, just, you know, a long time. I'm being just serious, right? I go, hey man, I go, haven't seen you in a few classes. You go, yeah, I came in, I got my assignment. He did, he turned in his assignment. I just didn't see him for like 2 classes. And then we went to lunch, and just to see him evolve over time, that's the teacher. Because I saw, even back then, I saw so much potential, and I see in him, and I see potential in y'all. So I want you just to keep learning, and you're going to fall. I can't tell you the number of phone calls I've had with Ian over the years where he's like, dude, Jay, I don't know what to do, man. I got myself in a corner, and we would talk it through and we'd work it out. Right? You're gonna fall, you're gonna fail, you're gonna stub your toe. But I bet you Michael could tell you plenty of times where he stubbed his toe, and then it was the best learning experience in retrospect, right? At the time, it feels like crap because nobody wants to stub their toe in the dark, right? You're like, I didn't see that coming, and that hurts a lot. But you get there and you say, in hindsight, I really needed that because I learned so much from that experience. So I guess, and I'm starting to ramble now, and it's 9:09. So here's what I'm going to do. Don't email me. I've already told you, never email me. Email is my nemesis, right? I still have 100 and something thousand emails I haven't. Ian knows that from a long time ago. But if you want to connect with me, LinkedIn is the best way to connect with me. Feel free. You are more than welcome to send me messages over time. Please, if you guys wind up getting jobs, please let us know, because we love to highlight your successes. We love to acknowledge y'all. So as you're out there getting opportunities, getting internships, getting jobs, please let us know. And feel free to connect if that's okay with Ian and Michael. I know Rick has already put his thing. If it's okay for the students to connect with y'all, okay, we got a thumbs up. Then please reach out to these guys, because you never know. They may be going, hey, Marissa, I now know that you're at Google. Wow, that's a cool place to be. Remember me, Michael Sands? So you never know. Remember, Ian was the intern. Now he's the boss. So you never know. It could be a student hiring Michael Sands because they go, Michael, you were in my thing. We could absolutely use your badass powers at Google. And Michael might say, hey man, how much you paying me? Sounds great, right? So you never know what the future holds. And 10 or 20 years from now, it could go there. All right, I'm going to shut up. Bill, let's close out the class. Any final, they have evaluations, right? That we need to get them and stuff like
I'm sure
that.
I got that email, but it's been a day. So if you guys are missing a link, send me an email and I'll look for it. But you should have. Okay, Christianka is nodding her head. Marissa. So yeah, please fill out that survey. Let us know. And SMU, what you like and about the class. We always love to hear what you like and what you might think might help us out. So we'd love to get feedback.
All right. Well, with that, I'm going to let everybody go and enjoy the rest of the evening. Congratulations to all of you. I don't say this every class, and Rick knows this, and Bill especially knows this. Really enjoyed this class. Thank you for making it an enjoyable class by being so passionate and curious and dedicated and hardworking. Really enjoyed this class. You made this a great experience for me because you were such great learners and you worked so hard. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate all your hard work and everything you put into class. And I know Spacey appreciates and can see all the hard work that you did as well. So thank you guys. All right, I'm gonna shut up, otherwise I talk all night. We're gonna let everybody go. Bye-bye, take care of yourselves, be safe and healthy, and until we meet again. All right, bye guys. Thank you again, Spacey.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye.
Thank you, everyone.